FM News Talk 97.1.
On-demand audio.
Who is a man that would risk his neck for his brother, man?
All right. Chris Arps, how are you, buddy?
D. Schneider, the Shaft.
How about that?
Wow. Is D. Schneider really 61 years old?
61? I thought he was older than that, actually. He was born in 1955. Yeah.
I remember back in the late 80s driving around with wine coolers on a Saturday night listening to Rat.
There you go.
Maybe that's a
similar
hear,
hairband. There you go.
Oh, I thought he was with Rat.
No.
Sister?
Yeah, there you
okay.
go. Yeah. That's all right. You might have confused the two from
they
a
all
distance.
look alike.
They all look alike, right? Exactly. I was waiting for it.
They all look alike. I can't hear my headphones, by the way.
You can't hear anything?
I don't hear anything.
Oh, I wonder why. Hold on just a minute. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna work on that for you. That's all right. No, don't worry about that. Before you came on, I was talking a little bit about the grief Donald Trump has taken. CNN is just hounding him over his comments on race and, what the hell do you have to lose, the comment that he made. So they went out to a neighborhood near Detroit where he gave a speech, or maybe it was Milwaukee. I think it seemed like it was Detroit. Anyway, it said that if he traveled just 10 blocks away, he could have found real black people to talk to. So that's what they're trying to show. And then they drew the conclusion that of all the 20 people they talked to for their story, only one supported Donald Trump.
Wells believes Trump is speaking some hard truths.
He's probably right. What do we have to lose?
So you don't find that insulting in generalizing?
Nah, because I'm sure sooner or later Democrats are going to insult me some kind of way too. So they insult. In fact, they have insulted me. They assume that I'm going to vote for him.
But Kenny Wells is a minority in a minority community. Of the 20 people we interviewed, he's the only one supporting Donald Trump.
So they're just saying that this is how it is, and there's not a chance that he's going to draw any support from the African American community.
Well, 1 out of 10. That's what the polls are saying, right?
Thank you.
So
well,
right
one out of 20 in that case.
Oh, okay.
1 out of 20
about half
is
a
what they
percent.
were claiming. Patrick had called in earlier here before the break. Let me get to his call real quick. Patrick, you're on the air with Marc Cox and Chris Arps.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
I just wanted to talk about one of the reasons that you see blacks vote mostly for Democrats and progressive liberals.
Okay.
It's kind of simple. I think many conservatives overlook it. This is a democracy. So we're only 13%. We don't always get to live under, just like white people, the type of political, candidates that we elect. Sometimes we live under Republicans. The main rally call for conservatives to vote for blacks is that we've been living under Democrats for so long and it's been so bad. This is a democracy. This is not Russia.
Right.
You're not Putin. We have been living under Republicans and Democrats. So they both have done, not a good job. Some worse than others at some time. Clinton was very good for us, but towards the end, he was very bad. Also, the things that are bad are really bad for all of us. Like NAFTA and all of that. So our worst years, Reagan. We're most racial divided. When you look at some of these riots, it would take 3,000 Fergusons to equal the 92 riots under Bush.
You're talking about the riots in Watts?
I'm sorry, hello?
Talking about the riots in Watts?
No, the riots in 92 riots in L.A.
In L.A.
Yeah, under Bush, after the Rodney King verdict.
Correct.
When you talk about racial divide, because that's the thing, people see that, it's like, we're so racially divided. During those riots, you got white people being attacked for being white. You got Koreans shooting at black people. You want to talk about racial divide? I mean, that's racial divide. Everybody was trying to kill everybody. 40 people died. I think almost 40 officers were murdered. I mean, that was huge. That's racial divide.
Yeah, Patrick, I don't know. I don't remember it that way. Chris, how about you?
Ronald Reagan is always vilified as the worst president that black people could have ever had. But I've looked up the statistics and has blogged about this and have written about this on Facebook. During Ronald Reagan's term, more black people entered the middle class. More black people were entrepreneurs and started businesses.
True.
I mean, it was a booming period.
But that's circumstance. Remember, 1980 when Reagan came in, that was our first taste of freedom. 60s was the civil rights. Then we had Nixon. Nixon was the people always give credit to Kennedy and Lyndon B. Johnson. There were 3 presidents that helped with the civil rights movement. Nixon was the 3rd. He pushed it in the North. But Nixon so the civil rights movement didn't really enter until after the 70s because Nixon had to bring in affirmative action just to get it in. So the 80s was literally, that's what's so shocking for conservatives. The 80s was literally our first taste of freedom.
Well, Patrick, you make some interesting points, and I just wonder, because he can't be arguing a thing that they were better off under Jimmy Carter. And if you argue that you were better off under Bill Clinton, I mean, the economy was booming then because of the tech stocks that didn't have a whole lot to do with how Bill Clinton handled the economy. And he put NAFTA in place, which transferred a lot of jobs out.
And one thing, too, that people forget, if you look at the last quarter of Bill Clinton's presidency, the economy was technically in a recession because the tech boom and everything had crashed. But
you don't know about it till after.
Exactly. But, yeah, they looked at that last quarter, and we were in a recession.
So I get back to my question. I mean, I obviously remember the Rodney King situation. In fact, I'm trying to – was that – what year was that? Was that – 90, 91, something like that?
President.
Yeah, so I remember had just started working in television news when that happened. My perception is that race relations are worse now than they were then. I remember that being a time of a lot of strife, but it largely seemed to be contained to the area in Southern California where the Rodney King attack happened.
Yeah. I don't know if you can make that judgment from here and now because of the proliferation of social media where everyone has a camera.
You didn't have all that, right?
And every little police incident is taped. Any racial incident is taped. So could be just steady along.
Yeah, I don't know. But again, I mean, lots of opinions on this, and I'm glad Chris came up with the idea of inviting a friend of his on the show today who you got to know him. Did you say he's from Georgia?
No, that was the other
Ashley was from Georgia.
This is Telly Lovelace. We worked together in Senator Jim Talent's office when he was in office. Telly was the deputy communications director.
Okay.
For Jim Talent, and Representative Shamed Dogan of Baldwin worked in Talent's office too. So all the 3 of us are good friends and have known each other forever.
And now he's out trying to get some field engagement going on for the Republicans to try to sell what they're selling to African Americans and see if they can get a little greater turnout. I mean, Donald Trump. Love him or hate him, this is what he had to say.
What the hell do you have to lose?
I mean, that sounds like the perfect slogan.
That was your proposal to your wife, wasn't it?
That's exactly. I said that to her. This is it, honey. I mean, honestly, here it is.
What the hell do you have to lose?
I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's Chris Arps. He'll be here all week.